given Lubinda is actually here to have a conversation with you. See if you can give us that call. Hi there, good afternoon. Hi there, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yes, we can hear you. Are you able to hear us?
Yes.
Okay, please go on and share your contribution.
Bwino mukwayi muli shampi.
Cosmas within Osaka. I'm a youth.
But Cosmas, you have 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes. Please go ahead.
Okay. My call to the president and the PF at large. I would love to see maybe peace, because if Given can organize all the MPs and all the members of parliament and other stakeholders to call them come together and make one idea to compete in 2026. Because if this confusion is going to be like this until somewhere maybe next year, March and April, it will be very difficult for the opposition to create a platform to beat HH. So my main call, I think what I can say is from the president, the given Lubinda, the only way I can give is that just create unity between the MPs. That's why even Bill 7 in Apita, because of the same system of being not united. So my only call is that we are given Lubinda, we are pleading you, please, sir. Just create a platform to unite all the MPs and make one idea, choose one president to make sure that we have a candidate before maybe April 2026. I thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I'd like you to respond to this caller.
Thank you, Cosmas. Did you say Cosmas?
Yes.
Thank you, Cosmas. You said you're a youth, and thank you for being so forthright. Indeed, it is our duty to make sure that we unite all loyal members. And beyond that, it is our duty to unite all opposition political parties. But for us in the Patriotic Front, it is a very important prerequisite for us to have a general conference or a national convention as soon as possible. And allow me to seize this opportunity to explain that what DSG admin Celestine Mukandila said about April, he did not say the convention will be held in April. He was explaining that according to the constitution of the Patriotic Front, the last convention we held was in May of 2021, and the 5 years elapses in April of 2026. And he was saying, according to the party constitution and also according to the Republican constitution, we cannot cross April 2026 without having had a convention, meaning the convention shall be held between now and April, not necessarily in April. The convention can even be held on the 13th of January. What we are waiting for now is the clearance of the two legal matters. One in Lusaka, the Munduvile plus 8 other MPs against Chavinga and Ngonga. And the second one, the ex parte injunction that was obtained by Chavinga in the Kabwe High Court. Once those two are out of the way, then we are ready to proceed to the convention. And we in the Patriotic Front, I particularly, am eager to go to the convention because I am tired of people saying, Katililefye. When I go asking, lobbying people to support the party, others are going to them and saying, no, Katililefye. He's not incumbent. I am sick and tired of people challenging me and saying he has no power because he was not elected. I am the one who is in the greatest hurry to have the convention so that we have a president who can exercise power without people undermining him. I am in a hurry.
Mr. President, are you planning to contest for PF presidency come the AGM?
I told every citizen that I am putting my name. That's how I paid. the 200,000 kwacha expression of interest fee. Now, the nomination itself, according to our constitution, closes 24 hours before the conference. And I want to say, between now and then, anything could happen. But where we are now, I have told the people of the Patriotic Front that can they please consider me as one of those people aspiring to lead them.
Wonderful.
And I have my credentials, which I am selling. I started my political career a long time ago. I started my political career in 1998. And when I say political career, I'm talking about the national politics. Before that, I was very active in student politics. Those who are of my age will remember that I was actually Secretary General of the Zambia Union of Students Organization, which is the umbrella organization of all students in the country. I was active in student politics from the age of 7 when I was first elected secretary of Young Farmers Club in my primary school. So I've been involved in leadership from that early age. But fast forward, I can sell myself as being a veteran politician. I started my political career, people will not believe this, but I started my political career in the UPND as a section chairman. And quickly I rose and became ward chairman. For Chilenje ward, by the way. I was ward chairman for Chilenje ward. I attempted to contest the by-election for Chilenje councillor, but at that point, my employers felt, no, this was not the right position for me, and they encouraged me to stay on because only a few years later, the parliamentary elections would take place. After being ward chairman for Chilenje, I became constituency chairman for Kabwata constituency. I rose from that position to becoming provincial chairman for Lusaka province, the position that is now being celebrated by Mwali Teta. I held that position before him. I rose from provincial chairman and was elected chairman for information and publicity in the UPND in the elections that were held in 2006 after President Anderson Mazoga, Mwana Mubotu, may his soul rest in peace. I miss him dearly. He was a great leader. He brought everyone together. He held the party together beyond race, beyond tribe, beyond any kind of inclination. He was a great leader. I miss him a lot. However, after that, because of all the hegemony that took place at the convention of the UPND in 2006, I moved on and became a member of the Patriotic Front, where I was immediately appointed by President Michael Sata as chairman for information and publicity in the Patriotic Front. Later on, I went into elections, the 2010 elections in Mulungushi. Again, I was elected through that election. I held several positions in the Patriotic Front. I held the position of chairman for local government, and I ended up holding the position of chairman for agriculture and livestock development before President Edgar Chagwa Lungu honored me to become vice president of the Patriotic Front and now president of the Patriotic Front. That is the political side of it. When it comes to the national politics side of it, as everybody will know, I was first elected member of parliament in Kabwata in 2001. Under the UPND ticket. And May 2006, I moved on. I left UPND, but I stood for elections in August on the PF ticket. And people had counted me out. They said he was elected on UPND, he can't win on PF. Much to their surprise, I won with a landslide in the 2006 elections. I won again in the 2011 elections and the 2016 elections. During that period, 2011, or from 2001, by the way, to the time I left Parliament, I was a very active parliamentarian. If you go to Hansard of Parliament, you will not find any member of Parliament who raised as many motions in Parliament as I did. In 1 year, I raised 98 amendments to the budget. 98. By the way, this I have to state so that people understand clearly. I think it was in 2009 when Minister of Finance was Magande. I might miss the year, but when Minister Magande was Minister of Finance, he had made a change. He moved Constituency Development Fund and made it District Development Fund. And because of that, he increased the amount. And I struggled, I amended that. And the whole parliament was very happy when I moved that amendment. The net effect was that I just changed the name from District Development Fund to Constituency Development Fund, but did not change the amount. So what that meant is that the amount of money that was allocated per constituency was increased.
Yes.
I was the founding Secretary General of the African Parliamentarians Network Against Corruption in Zambia, and I was elected very quickly to become the chairman of the African Parliamentarian Network for the continent. And from Zambia, I formed African parliamentary networks around parliaments on the continent. I traveled everywhere in Africa to go and establish APNAC. I ended up being chairman, global chairman, of the Global Organization of Parliamentarians Against Corruption. I formed various parliamentary entities. One that I'm very happy about, and it has made a lot of progress, is the Caucus on Climate Change and the Environment. I was the founder of that. I also founded the Parliamentary Network on the World Bank in the Zambian Parliament. I was the founder of the Catholic Parliamentarian Council in Parliament. I was the founding member, but because I was busy with other parliamentary bodies, I asked others to chair it, and I became secretary.
Mr. President, the CV is not going to end.
But let me also conclude, just to show how ready I am to take the realm of leadership at the highest level.
Yes.
I have held numerous ministerial positions. I first held the position of Minister of Information, Broadcasting and Tourism. And people remember that soon after that, President Michael Sata moved me to Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And he left the Ministry of Information, Broadcasting and Tourism as it was. But only 3 weeks after that, he transferred the Ministry of Tourism to me. I'm the only minister who was attracting ministries that follow him. The Ministry of Tourism came and followed me. I became again minister of two ministries, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ministry of Tourism. And as fate would have it, some people were getting concerned that President Michael Sata, you remember that he was not a tourist president. He wanted to concentrate on local matters. So whenever there were summits abroad and so on, people were getting worried that it was always me who was going to represent him and so on and so forth. And that's how some people came up and crafted all sorts of allegations against me and so on. And
what sort of allegations were crafted against you?
The allegation that was crafted against me was one that wasn't even proved. Because when I went to their hearing, they were asking me things that I hadn't even been charged for. I was charged for espionage, that I was selling information to foreign countries. I was selling information to UPND. And nobody even adduced any evidence of that. When I went to the hearing, they were asking me all sorts of trivial issues. Anyhow, I'm very glad that I went through that, because as far as I'm concerned, baptism through fire is what makes a person. That's what makes a leader. And during that time when I was out of office, I am very happy that I continued to enjoy a very cordial relationship with President Michael Sata. I kept going to his office, and he asked me if I wanted to go back into his cabinet, and he told me, I'll give you this ministry and that ministry. On that one particular day when I was there, he actually picked up the phone and called the then Secretary General, Winter Kabingimba. He's there now. He was called, do you know who I'm with here? And he used to call him Kajongosi. Mr. Kajongosi, do you know who I'm with here? And he said, no, I don't, sir. And he said, I'm here with Mr. Zayelo. Mr. Zayelo is coming back into cabinet. When he hung up, I said to him, no, sir, I'm not coming back into cabinet. For as long as you have people in cabinet who can frame me for offenses that I didn't commit.
That I have not done, yeah.
And after that came Edgar Chagwalungu, and I'm very grateful to him that he made me Minister of Agriculture and Livestock. And after that, he split the two ministries and left me with Ministry of Agriculture. Then came the 2016 elections. he said to me, I know you're not a lawyer, but I know how smart you are. I know how hardworking you are. Even if I have some lawyers in my cabinet, I don't want any one of them to take the Ministry of Justice, because it is not just a question of you knowing the law. It is a question of the acumen you have and the ability to lead. And I'm sending you there because I know that you do a good job in the ministry. And he made me his Minister of Justice.
I want us to move on because we don't have a lot of time, Mr.
Very well,
President.
very well.
Quickly, and I would like short answers so that we can conclude. If someone else wins at the convention, someone else other than you, are you supporting that person?
Well, that's a very good question to ask. And where I am now, I'm asking myself, if the people of the Patriotic Front do not see value in me as president, what position do they want me to hold? So I have to do a lot of introspection. I am in a very awkward position that I have had all this experience and I am at the helm of the party today. And if the party says, no, we don't want you, then the question that I'll ask myself, and I haven't asked that question, by the way, because it has not crossed my mind. The question I'll ask is there somebody with as much experience as I have? Is there somebody who can be comfortable with me, serving under them? So I think you've done a good thing to ask this question. And it gives me the opportunity to start reflecting upon it. Let me reflect upon it, and I'll make this known pretty soon.
Please. With about 8 months remaining before the 2026 general elections and your party's internal wrangles still unresolved, we're talking about court cases, talking about anybody who wants to stand. What are the prospects of the PF being on the ballot paper?
Very high, very, very high. I have confidence in the judges that are handling these two outstanding matters. And I don't see how a judge would say, yes, the convention was legal, when the people who claimed its legality have failed to submit evidence to that effect. And also the matter that is in Kabwe, I don't really believe that surely people who don't have locus can sustain an ex parte injunction. I'm not too sure about that. But let me not comment any further because that could be contempt. But I am confident that soon and very soon, the Patriotic Front will be handed back to the rightful owners, and the Patriotic Front will be on the ballot paper.
When it's time for nomination and the Patriotic Front has not, hypothetically speaking, has not been handed back to you and everybody who supports it, what's the plan B?
We've always talked about plan B, and I can say to you that there's plan B, there's plan C, and there's also plan D. But the immediate action that will be taken by the Patriotic Front is to be smart. And in being smart, I'll just give you an analogy. If you are traveling on a truck and your truck breaks down and your destination is Kafue, and your truck breaks down in Chilanga, and you can see that this truck won't be repaired, and another truck is going in the same direction, you'll only be a fool if you don't jump on that truck. So that is our plan B. But there's also plan C and plan D. Because why am I saying this? It all depends on what the outcome of the court will be. The one thing that I would not like to see is that we are denied ownership of the Patriotic Front, and the Patriotic Front is used by other people. That I'd like to urge all members of the Patriotic Front. Let us guard against that. If we don't have the Patriotic Front, then we ought to find plan C to make sure that no one owns it.
Quickly, you recently announced the expulsion of PF MPs who voted for Bill 7. And I think just yesterday, yesterday or the other day, PF Kasama Central MP Sibongile Mwamba endorsed the UPND mayoral candidate. I'd like to find out if you feel vindicated by your decision.
With regard to people like Sibongile Mwamba and other members of parliament, Chavinga, Mongandu, and so on, the ones who the public were seeing parading before Hakainde Hichilema, joining him on tours and so on, they declaring that they are going to support Hakainde Hichilema, those ones were already lost. And Sibongile was already lost by that time. And when they voted for Bill 7, it didn't come to me as a surprise. So what she did here is not only vindicating my action, it is just showing that she was already sold. She had already departed from the Patriotic Front. So even when she was coming in our meetings, we were not sure that she would vote with us. We were dead sure that she had already declared her support for Hakainde.
From where you stand, are you expecting any more defections or acts of indiscipline, especially from the MPs that voted for Bill 7?
The MPs that voted for Bill 7 were expelled. However, the provisions of the constitution of the PF is that a person who has been expelled or who has left the party can reapply to be readmitted. So those who feel that they really made a decision unconsciously and they want to show remorse and they want to apply for readmission, I will be the first one to go to the Central Committee and say, please consider their reapplications.
So other than their reapplications, is there a plan to reunite the party and make it strong as you head to the General Conference?
Yes, that's what we're working at. We're working at uniting everybody. This is why I have been requesting the Council of Elders to call particularly presidential aspirants, because as things are now, it appears as though the presidential aspirants, because of their campaigns and so on, and because of endorsement here and endorsement there and so on, that they are the ones who are creating an impression that the party has factions. So once we harmonize all these presidential aspirants, one would expect that the whole party will be united. And I'm hoping that this can be done as quickly as possible. I was talking to the chairman of the Council of Elders, and he tells me that the Council of Elders are determined to continue their engagement with presidential aspirants and with Central Committee.
Wonderful. As we come to a close, I'd like to you to say a few words to the Zambian people as we enter into 2026, the year where we have a general election.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My first message to our citizens is that we are in a festive season. And during this period, we must thank God that He has brought us this far. Ebenezer. And I would like to urge all of us tonight, as we celebrate the coming of the new year, 2026, let us do it with civility and also with humility to God. Let us not overindulge. We have gone through a very hard 2025, particularly those of us in the Patriotic Front, and also citizens generally. My heart goes out to those farmers. I'm a farmer too, small-scale farmer. But I have this heart burning for those many Zambian farmers who supplied their maize. After hard work, 1 full year of hard work, they supplied their maize to Food Reserve Agency. We're now at the close of the planting season for 2025-2026, and yet they have not been paid for the maize they delivered to Food Reserve Agency. If you look at the budget for 2026, to pay farmers who supplied maize to FRA, and yet to date the government is saying it is now looking for money to borrow from a bank to pay our farmers. I can imagine that a lot of our small-scale farmers have not planted. This means that next year a lot of our farmers will go hungry. I feel for them. And all I can do is to pray to God that He will provide for them. For all of us politicians, I want to say, please, let's go into 2026 as a united people. Let us leave behind hate. The kind of hate that we have experienced in 2025 is diabolical. the hate exhibited towards Edgar Chagwa Lungu to an extent that he goes to die because he was denied medical attention is the epitome of hate. The cause for the loss of a seat for Chawama by Tasila Lungu, because people in parliament expected her to abandon the remains of her dear father to go into parliament to go and say here, here, is another epitome of hate. We can't continue with this level of hate. The abrogation of the constitution, as we saw through Bill 7, the abrogation of the constitution and parliamentary practice, as we saw that parliament refuses to release information that is required by the public as to who voted for and against Bill 7, is also a sign of how the country is becoming draconian, how this country is becoming a dictatorship. The exhibition of bias by Speaker Nelly Muti, dancing Chikokoshi in celebration of the passage of such a bill, is also something that we must leave behind. I'm praying to God that the by-elections that are taking place now shall be violent-free. I was in Chawama yesterday. I had to accompany our campaign managers to go and report the incidences of interruption of our meetings by UPND. And I want to commend our members for being resilient. They did not react. Had they reacted, there could have been violence. I hope the police will come up and ensure that all such incidences of political intolerance and interference are brought to a stop, not only in Chawama, but also in Kasama and all the ward by-elections that are taking place across the country. For Chawama, I want to wish the people there goodwill. Goodwill to Edgar Chagwa Lungu, their former member of parliament. Goodwill to Tasila Lungu, their former member of parliament. And may they discard all those other political parties who are using the logo and the portraits of President Edgar Lungu and Tasila Lungu. All those who are using those portraits and yet are not supported by the PF are masquerading, and they must be discarded. I wish the people of Chawama to vote for Bright Nundwe. And the people of Kasama, you had a hard-working mayor. We have brought you another candidate. Under the chairmanship of George Chisanga in Kasama as campaign manager, I'm hoping that the people of Kasama will also remember Teresa Kolala and give the vote to our candidate, Peter Yuda Chikwete. For all citizens of Zambia, I wish you a very prosperous 2026. For us in the Patriotic Front, prosperity in 2026 means, number one, getting back our Patriotic Front. Number two, going to the convention as a united party. Number three, emerging from the convention as a solid movement, ready to organize ourselves, to work together with our friends in the Tonse Alliance, and to galvanize all other political parties in the opposition, so that in 2026 August, we wrestle authority, not for authority's sake, but for the sake of providing better governance than we have experienced between 2021 and now. A governance that has been experienced, a governance that has proven itself, a governance in the hands of people who are not going into this for experiment's sake, but because they have proven to you that they are capable of leading, people who have experience. To you, all my fellow citizens, all I can say is shalom, shalom, happy 2026.
Mr. President, I know you've said bye. Before I let you go, how much confidence do you have in the ECZ right now to be able to carry out elections in Chawama?